In today's video, we're going to be talking about disqualifying the positive and how this cognitive distortion might be dragging your mood down and what you can do about it. Hi everybody. Today we're continuing our series on cognitive distortions and biased ways of thinking, and this week we're going to be talking about disqualifying the positive, which, as its name implies, means that you may tend to dismiss good or positive things that are happening to you, or that are good or positive in you, or that are happening in your life. But before I get into that, just a couple of disclaimers to go over. I'm a registered psychologist in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and this video is for informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute or replacement for advice from your doctor or mental health professional. Now, with those things out of the way, let's start talking about disqualifying the positive, which at its core, a person, when they're disqualifying the positive, are rejecting positive things in your life and insist that they don't count for one reason or another. So disqualifying the positive is very similar to the cognitive distortion of filtering that I talked about in a previous video. Now, in disqualifying the positive, what happens is that negative events or negative characteristics of me or negative responses from other people tend to be assigned very high levels of meaning and validity. So the low grade that I got in that course means that I'm stupid. My partner telling me that she's upset with me means that I'm unlovable. Me not getting that promotion means that I'm destined to have a dead-end career, and that I'm not going to get anywhere in terms of my career, and I'm never going to be successful. Now, in disqualifying the positive, not only are those negatives assigned very high levels of meaning or very strong levels of meaning, but any positives tend to be dismissed or given very little significance at all. So even though you can recognize that there are potential positives occurring, those positives get dismissed or brushed aside. So this is what tends to differentiate disqualifying the positive from filtering. In that disqualifying the positive, the person can recognize the positives, they just dismiss the positives, whereas in filtering, the person may not even see that there are any positives. So these positives that tend to get brushed aside are usually associated with examples of assuming that other people are acting out of pity. So yeah, she agreed to go on a date with me, but she just did it to be nice and didn't want to hurt my feelings. Achievements are assumed to be universal or insignificant. Going to college isn't that big of a deal. Everybody can do it. Good fortune or positive experiences are taken as examples of pure luck. Yeah, I got the job, but I lucked out because there probably weren't a lot of people who applied for it anyway. So I was probably the only choice. Now, if you've ever tried to talk to someone who was depressed and you tried to talk them out of their bad mood, you've probably seen this cognitive distortion at work. And it usually takes the form of what I call the yes but. So imagine you're trying to convince someone that they're not an idiot, and you point out that, hey, you just got like an A+ on that test. You've probably gotten an answer like, yeah, but I just got lucky because it was a really easy test. So there's the positives, but the positives get brushed aside. And this can be really, really sort of frustrating or challenging for family members of someone who is depressed, because they try to point out all of the things that are going well, but it just gets brushed aside or it gets dismissed. And that can be really frustrating and cause a lot of problems in interpersonal relationships. So the thing with disqualifying the positive is that the person recognizes there's a positive, but they dismiss it, they see no value in it, and they give it no credit. So what can you do about this? What can you do if you tend to engage in a lot of disqualifying the positive? Well, as is the case with all of the cognitive distortions that we're talking about in this series, the first step is to be aware of it and to be able to identify when you actually are disqualifying the positive. One of the things I find really helpful about understanding these cognitive distortions or these biased ways of thinking is that you get to put labels on these types of thoughts, so that it's almost like a bit of a mental shorthand that you can catch yourself while you're doing it and be able to recognize, yes, I am disqualifying the positive in this situation. But once you notice that you're disqualifying the positive, you have to remind yourself that positives count. That no excuses. Positives count, no excuses, no yes but. If negatives count, then positives must count at least equally as much. And you may need to find yourself having to continually remind yourself of that fact. Negatives count, so positives must count as well. So this can be challenging at first. I know it can be really, really kind of a tough thing to do, especially if you're used to disqualifying the positive a lot. But with practice, you'll catch yourself when you're yes-butting, and you'll be able to sort of intervene and stop it. So that's the cognitive distortion of disqualifying the positive. I hope that makes sense. I'd love to hear your thoughts or questions about this, so please leave me some comments in the comments section down below. If you're enjoying my videos and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll be alerted every week when I post a new video. So that's all for today's video. As always, thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.